let me introduce all the important people, okay? I'm Bryant. I'm the middle child of Lucette. Where's Lucette? The urn.
She's here. You can't see her?
Where's the urn?
I'll push it on the
She's back in the window.
No, I was talking about the crushed bones and the stuff they put in the urn.
It's on the windowsill.
It's in the windowsill? Oh, okay, I just wanted to know where it was. Back here. I have to get a sense. All right. So I'm Brian. I'm the middle child. My wife, Susan. And the oldest child, Claude, over there. Put your hand up, because I'm going to... Everybody knows everybody here anyway, but... And then Cindy, where are you? So in case if I speak your name, I know which direction to look in. All right. So we're talking about my mother now. She was always with us in both the good times and the bad times of our lives. No matter how she felt, no matter what condition she was in, if she heard that I was in trouble, and that was more than once, she came running to comfort me. Like, don't worry about it, Brian. We'll get over it. It's going to be okay. You know, that sort of thing. Very kind, very generous person. And the three of us know that she loved us equally. We do know that. A homemaker who took care of her husband, her three children, without ever complaining.
You forgot the parakeet.
What's that?
You forgot the parakeet.
You took care of the parakeets too.
The blue and white one.
Don't worry about it. Keep going.
What is,
About the parakeet. Don't forget the parakeet.
oh, the parakeet. He's buried underneath that rock over there where that ball is. That ball rolled over. Oh, okay, good.
I remember him.
Let's see, where was I? Page 1? All right. So whenever I had trouble dealing with turbulence in my life, I could always count on Mummy. That sound about right, Claude?
Yes.
Yeah. And I remember I missed the way that she used to repeat the famous words of my father. Don't worry about it, Bri. It'll all come out in the wash. That sound about right? So far, so good? So in other words, we got the feeling growing up that she was more concerned always about other people, you know, before herself. And she was more concerned about the people that she loved over any discomfort she may have been going through. She was born in Hartford, Connecticut, raised in a small town in Maine. That's Waterville. Wonderful, easy to get along with, a very, very intelligent woman. Don't forget that. Everyone she knew, friends, relatives, neighbors, loved her for who she was, praised her for her loving and helpful ways. All right, now here comes some fun part. A while back, there was some of my grandkids wrote a letter to my father when he was in his passing days, you know, right before he passed. And I was reading those yesterday, and they sort of pertain to Meme too. So I'm going to read it. I'm just going to, some of you have already written this, maybe would have been 12 or 13 years ago. So I'm going to read it, okay? Okay, there's about 4 or 5. The first one. Dear Meme, I have such nice memories of us at your house as kids. The swing in the backyard, and that was right about over there, I think. The swing in the backyard, feeding the squirrels, spending many holidays together. You have been a wonderful role model to all of us kids. I hope we can all represent the Bourgoin name the same way you did. Second one. You lived a life to be admired, and it was always a comfort going to visit you and Pepe. Another one. There are so many words that I want to use to express the lessons you have taught us. You are such a selfless, caring, loving, strong, wise, inspiring role model for all of us. More important than any words I can use to describe you are the words that mean the most. Thank you, and I love you. One more. You remain a significant part of my life, especially my childhood. Springtime is still my favorite time of the year because this was when you and Pepe would come by train to visit. Back then, my father was afraid to fly, I mean, he was 4 years in the Air Force during World War II, but he didn't like flying. But imagine, the typical soldier, they do it for the country and that sort of thing. But even though there were so many kids constantly begging attention from you, I never remember you raising your voice or a stern look or you ever being frustrated. You gave us your unconditional love. I would wake up really early just to wait for my Pepe and Meme to return from their walks to Willow Springs. Okay, you know where that is? I will always remember that camcorder. It was a big hit. And because of that, we have lifelong memories on tape. You guys remember that? The camcorder? Okay, great. Yeah. Well, one of you wrote this. Might have been Sharice, and Sharice isn't here, and that's okay. Memories of the weirdo Bourgoin family. Because it definitely comes from that side of your family, as do our good looks, which definitely comes from Bryant. No, she didn't say that. She didn't say that. So, in otherwise, call it the Bourgoin genes, is what she said. Thank you. So thank you for the looks, personality traits, the love, the memories, and thank you for my mother, Cindy. Getting back to my mother, she would say things like, Claude's the strong one. He's a good boy. And if something needs to be said, you better let Claude say it. Cindy, you were the smart one, the very personable one, made friends wicked easy. Dad was a loving husband, made her happy for over 61 years. And Bryant, that's me, the good-looking one. Y'all are good-looking. Let's hear it for all the good-looking people. Yeah, you too, Robert. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Yeah, and Bryant, you just don't have enough common sense. And you got to use your head once in a while. And don't argue with your brother. And she said, you're also the lucky one of the family. I remember her, she always wanted me to buy her lottery tickets for her birthday. I was just one of those guys that used to win raffles just out of the clear blue sky all the time. But lucky am I to have a mother like Lucette. Okay, Fortune 500's list of greatest women of the year. Now you're expecting me to get down one at a time, right? No, my mother was like all of them. A person of devotion, great integrity, yet unlike most of them, she did it without having the education. She never had the education. But her and Dad always made sure the rest of us got the education. Not by paying for it, by making sure that we had the proper guidance to obtain our own resources. Only a half a page left. We're getting there. Oh, you're speaking about college, that's right. I remember one day I was hitchhiking to Orono. I used to come home on weekends a lot, and my father and mother would take me back to the interstate and drop me off so I could hitchhike back. And that included in the winter. That was when hitchhiking was an acceptable mode of transportation. Okay? So I'm on the interstate, and it was it was a little bit cooler than today. It was, let's see, what's today, 85? It was about 85 degrees cooler. About 85 degrees cooler than it was. It was like a cold rain, like a 10-degree rain or something. And I'm standing there shivering. And the one thing that got me through, that evening, he used to drop me off about 6 o'clock when it was pitch black. I'm standing on the entrance to I-95 up here. Was the fact that, gee, maybe I'll be so late tomorrow trying to get a ride in this crazy weather. I'll miss English class. Because I wasn't an English type of person. I was an engineering science person, and I didn't like it. So that's what got me through that cold, that cold spell. But here comes the punchline. So my dad and mother come driving by about 10 minutes later. Mom rolls down the window, says, "Hey, Bri, hop in. We don't want you to be late for English class tomorrow." I didn't make that up. That actually happened. That's why I wrote it down. And those of you who have a real good memory, I said the same thing at my father's eulogy about 13 years ago. So if there was a quote that my mother lived by, it would be something like, "We make a living by working smart, not hard, smart, and by what we get. But we make a life by what we give." Okay, the last thing I remember her saying to me was, "How's Susie doing? Is she all right?" She said, make sure you take good care of her." I promise. And I promised my mother. My mother will forever be a part of my heart and soul, my brothers and sisters' heart and soul, y'all's heart and soul. I still heed her wise counsel. Now I say farewell today to a wonderful mother, friend, and human being. We're going to have a moment of silence for two people today, actually. The lady that lived here next door was Donnie and Robert. Donnie and Robert, raise your hand. Yeah, they lived right there pretty much our entire childhood. Doris Armstrong, which is their mom, passed away Thursday. So let's take a moment of silence for Doris and Lucette. Thank you all for coming to help us celebrate Lucette's life and share our grief. I'm not done yet, Claude.
I want to say something after you're done.
Yeah, I know. That was part of my little. I got it written down here. I'm thanking you all for coming to help us celebrate Lucette's life and share our grief at her passing. Now we'd like to have the two closest relatives step up and say something. Claude, it's okay. This is what I do. You lift weights. I make up stuff in front of people.
This is gonna be short. After my father passed away, and he was and after he was buried, my mom said, what? When she gets buried, she's gonna be buried on top of her. He said, well, Ray used to be always on top of me, now I'll be on top of him.
That came out of your mouth?
Now the mom.
Yeah.
My sister would
Mommy
never
said
say
that.
that.
Now it's your turn.
Oh, gosh. How do I top that? Wow. She never said anything quite like that to me. Okay. Well, I think that Bryant really covered some of the things that I just want to reemphasize is Mama's integrity. And when people are talking to me about, sorry you lost your mom, the thing that wants to come out of my mouth is she's a hard act to follow. She just was a beautiful woman. She lived a life of uprightness and just, like you said, loved her family. She's a hard act to follow. She's a hard act to follow for all of us Bourgoin girls. I think that was your letter, right, to Meme? Yeah.
No, it was mine.
Liar. Okay. Yeah. Smart, intelligent. She, I think if I'm going to talk about memories, Mama kept me active as a young woman. She was right there putting me on skates when I was 5, and she was supporting me in dancing school, and just really kept me active and involved and away from TV sets. Stuff. Gosh, I don't know. It's so hard to narrow it down, really, without taking too much time. So I'm just going to reemphasize what Bryant said, the funny thing my brother said, and I love my mother. Oh my gosh, she's a hard act to follow. And Bri, I don't know if you want to start here with if anybody has a memory of Meme that they just a quick one. You have a fun memory of Meme Lou. Don't have to, no pressure. Anybody want to share anything there? What?
You guys covered it pretty good.
Okay.
We were very much aware that they were the favorite grandkids. I will say that.
Put it out there. That's good. That's good.
Not that she ever felt that way.
Hey, why?
Yeah, that's news to Kyle. He's like, whoa.
All right. Anybody else before I give the mic back to Brian?
I'll add something and then we'll I'd like to talk about Doris Armstrong, Donnie and Robert's mother. She was a very fine, a very tough woman. I remember mowing the lawn out here sometimes, and you know when Donnie's father might have got home late from work or something, didn't have time to do it. She was out there mowing the lawn. Well, I remember seeing you mow the lawn too, a couple times too. Yep. So women do mow lawns, but Doris was one of the first ones, way back. Tough woman. She was also, like my mother, a woman to admire. That sound about right, Robert?
Yeah, it does. Thank you, Brian.
Would anybody else like to say anything about Doris Armstrong? Y'all don't know. You can make something up.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to forget Doris.
Yeah, well, thank you, Brian.
She was very good friends with my mother.
Yeah, I know that. They used to go shopping
Now
together.
they're in another place together.
Oh, I know. Yeah, right, same time.
All righty. So that clears up that part of the afternoon. So what comes next? More food? Or?